Hey there in YouTube land, and I did the top movies that influenced me. I spoke about some of the top animated shows that influenced me, and I wanted to get in and talk about the top TV shows that influenced me. Now, that being said, I'm not talking about the British shows because those shows, I'll do on another list. I'm not talking about the British series because that'll be done in its own list as well. So, without further ado, these are the top 38 programs that influenced me when I was growing up. A lot of people don't know that as much as you see me here as a lover of movies and films, uh, I watched a lot of TV, and that was my first love. I actually collected TV almost exclusively for a few years before I got back into collecting films again. I just found at the time movies were very expensive. Box sets, although they could seem to be expensive at the time, you'd actually get a lot of it. You get a lot of shows, you had like a lot of episodes, you get a full series, all kinds of features. So, without further ado, here are the top 38 shows that influenced me when I was growing up, excluding British animation and, of course, so these are live action shows, usually from North America. Number one, no specific order. I Love Lucy. I actually really adored this show when I was a kid. It used to come on kind of infrequently. Of course, I was way too young to have seen I Love Lucy in its first, second, or third run. This is one of the first comedies of all time, and it stands the test of time. It really does. There were certain episodes I remember seeing. I remember being excited to see Christopher Reeve as Superman on the show. Seeing Hopper Marx. I was a huge Marx Brothers fan on this here, and there's the that's the vitamin. The oh God, what is it again? Vitaveg something. Vitamina Vegemin episode, uh, which is hilarious, by the way. A lot of great episodes in this one here. Stamping the Grapes. I just really, this is the only season, sadly, that I was able to find of I Love Lucy, but I really do love the series. I think that some Walmarts carry like some other like editions of it now. I'm not sure if they're stripped down editions or not, but this is a 7-disc 35. I really got to start rewatching it again. Next up is The Love Boat. Cheesy as it is, I actually did enjoy The Love Boat. Every week there was there's different casts on there. Well, they had the main cast, we had different like guest stars. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed like the dynamic of it, the kind of cheesy funniness of it. It seems so silly and quirky and weird and all that stuff now, but you know what? I really, really love this show. And it's one that I gotta say I got to get back into because it is such a good series. Uh, Good as a relative word here, but it's a fun show. It's one of those shows you can turn on at any time, and it's light, it's fluffy. Aaron Spelling did the light and fluffy, cool shows so well, and people really take that for granted because it's not as easy to do as you would think it would be. But this was a show that I used to watch all the time, and I used to did. I have a crush on the cruise director, Julie. Some of you may be surprised that this is was one of my favorite shows, but it really was. And I bought this season because I couldn't find the season with the there's a lot of episodes. I think the most episodes of any season, but it didn't. But I wanted the season with the cousins in it, and I got to get the animated one as well. The Dukes of Hazzard. This is unfortunately the only season of the Dukes of Hazzard that I've managed to get so far, but I really enjoyed Dukes of Hazzard. I know it's like pretty formulaic and cheesy, but it's fun. It's a really fun show, and I can just sit back and watch this anytime. I think that's some very dark episodes. There's an episode where the Duke boys, where Roscoe thinks that the Dukes are dead, that they've actually gone to their demise, and it goes into some pretty dark territory. I'll be honest, it really does. Next up is Steve McQueen and Wanted Dead or Alive. This is one of my favorite Western shows of all time. Steve McQueen just epitomized cool. He really, really did. Even his babyface character here. Josh Randall was just this amazing character. There was some great guest stars in this. There was a lot of Westerns that I watched and I liked. This is one of the only ones that I actually do own. But Wanted Dead or Alive was an amazing show. Don't have any of the seasons of this one. I'm waiting to get the box set down the road. But MacGyver, I was a huge MacGyver fan, and yeah, you don't have to say a lot with that. MacGyver was just one of those really cool shows. It was a really different, like, cool kind of first of the science heroes type of thing. Before it all became cool to be geeky and stuff like that. And speaking of Aaron Spelling, I can't go on without talking about Fantasy Island. And who did not love Ricardo Montalban or like Hervé Villescas? God, I never get that name right, guys. If anybody knows it, do a pronunciation down below. But I really did enjoy the show, especially the early ones. I mean, the first movie in Fantasy Island is extremely dark. It's almost like a horror film. There's none of this, happy Mr. Rock, welcome to Fantasy Island type thing. He's a dark character. He's like a very, and they would go into the dark aspects of it when they did a reboot of the show with Matt McDowell. He tried his best, but it's hard to be Ricardo Montalban. They could get shot at, their van could roll over, explosions could happen all around them, and you could be sure of one thing, that not even a call-in number where you had to pay to say whether you would live or die was ever going to kill the A-Team. I really do love this show. Fun show. With such great characters. Hannibal, B.A., Murdoch, and Face. And everybody's favorite was usually either a B.A. or Murdoch. I actually like Face. I thought Face was underrated. It may have had a depressing ending, but the series itself was really good. Actually, it was really, really good. Oh boy. Quantum Leap. Again, this is Scott Bakula. I love Scott Bakula's work. I think he's an amazing actor. And Dean Stockwell. And it worked so well together. They just went into so many different aspects of it here, and they really could work on different, like, kind of unique kind of social issues, and actually go into different, like, kind of give historical reverence to certain issues and stuff like that. And they do it in such a sneaky, cool way. As a kid, this was one of my favorites, and it still is. This one actually does stand the test of time. It's you can hear the sad music all the time, every week. Don't make me mad. You wouldn't like me when I'm mad. Incredible Hulk. Mark Ruffalo's amazing, but I'm sorry, this is my Incredible Hulk. This is the one that I go to. This is why the movies haven't been able to live up to it, because this truly is incredible. It's pretty much like The Fugitive, except he turns green and does really awesome stuff. He's going from place to place, and it was done by Kenneth Johnson, who would do another of my favorite series. I don't have it here. I do have the series, but I don't have it on me right now. It's a series called V. Now what's going up? Ken Johnson also did that one as well. That would have been number 39, but I just couldn't find it in my collection. Next up is the gorgeous, beautiful, amazing, and wonderful Wonder Woman. You cannot watch this show and not completely fall in love with Linda Carter when you were a kid. And even more so when I was a kid, actually, I had an even Wonder Girl to fall in love with, who was actually in the last episode of this season, actually. The first season was the only season that would go for World War II. After that, it would go to another network, and it would go on to be like modern 70s day stuff. She'd fight like aliens, and she'd have to, get teen superstars and all that back. But I really like the first season the best. It's my first and favorite season, and she is so amazingly beautiful. Even today, Linda Carter is just a class act, a beautiful woman. I've got her fan page thing on my Facebook because I love Linda Carter. When this was announced, every fanboy geek that had to go out and buy this right away. And I was one of those people that had to grab it. I grabbed it on Unboxing actually for a really good price. And if you don't have this in your collection, you really should, because it really is that good a show. And it encompasses every fanboy's, every geek's, every kid's dream, and is the Batman, the complete series, not animated series, the complete 1960s Adam West series. There'd be no Christopher Nolan Batman if this didn't exist. Make make no bones about it. Batman as a comic wasn't doing well before the 60s series came about. And as much as people like to think that oh no, the 60s series ruined the comic and lightened it up and stuff like that, no, it saved the comic. There wouldn't be a comic for the 60s series. And they just did such an incredible job. Such a great show with so many fantastic actors. This would be the show, one of the very first shows that would get that many big actors onto the series, and just love the way that was done. The most influential show for me as a writer growing up was one show only, and that is Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Actually, just a couple, but this is one of the main ones. Alfred Hitchcock Presents was just an incredible show, and I think it's in the first season that it had one of the very one of the big episodes, and it was about it was very simple. A guy, very hateful, like kept his emotions in check type of guy, gets in a car accident. I think it's Joseph Cotton, and he's alive, but he can't move, and he can tell everything that's going on around him. You can hear his inner narrative, and they are going to perform this, like they're going to do is basically they're going to do the autopsy on him. So they're going to stick stuff in and all this, and he's here's a guy that's always emotions are not a thing for him. He's a businessman, and throughout the entire episode he's trying so hard to show that he's alive, and he can only move his pinky finger, but his pinky finger where it's at is not in sight, and he can't see it. And watch the episode. It's just really good. One more thing. Columbo. Columbo was just one of those shows, and I know one of these days they're going to remake with somebody else, and I'm going to be on here bitching about that because Peter Falk was Columbo. He just did such a great job in the role. These were kind of like movie things that were done. They did I think they did some hour-long ones, but I think most of these aren't all movie ones. It's been a while since I've seen I've got most of the series now. I got to get the last couple. I know that I need to get one of the last movies because one of them has Deidre Hall and Ian Buchanan in it, and I really, really remember watching that when I was a kid. When I was actually older, but I think it was when I was in college. But Columbo, that's how long Columbo went on. This was on when I was a kid, and it would go through the years, and they'd have the mystery movies, the NBC mystery movies, and the ABC mystery movies, and basically Columbo was one that I enjoyed the most. And it's such great stories. Bewitched. I grew up in love with her. Elizabeth Montgomery is such an amazingly beautiful woman, and she was one of those comedic stars that just did so great. But there was one other actress that I was completely in love with too, and she was on this series here, Get Smart, and it was Barbara Felt. Get Smart was one of those just really, really funny and literally smart shows. I really dug the way the series was done. Man, I don't really know what to say. I mean, as a kid, I would get up and every day Get Smart would come on, and I would come home after school, and I'd watch it, and I'd actually even at times for my friends, I'd do prep falls and kind of do the Get Smartisms and stuff. I remember the episode with where he had the guy and he had the long fingernails, and he had this one that was poison, and Smart gets him to poison and kill himself. It's a really good episode. This would never, he would have to be arrested or something today, but back in the day they could actually do that. You guys know this is a series that influenced my life more than almost any show ever, and it's Remington Steele. Pierce Brosnan, Stephanie Zimbalist. I love the first season, especially because it had the really sexy secretary, Mrs. Fox. Mrs. Fox. Yeah, I know. But that, and it just had some great stuff. The second season is probably the best season. They introduced Major Discoin, who becomes kind of like a recurring character. Not as recurring as you'd see with the characters on MacGyver or anything like that, but he becomes recurring enough that people remembered him. He's only in 2 or 3 episodes, I think, but he was really memorable. And this was an incredible show. You could see even back then this guy that he was born to be Bond. Night Gallery. I really need to get the other ones. This is the only season. Again, this is Newfoundland, and I can't always find them around here, and I don't always like to buy online. So, Night Gallery is another incredible show. It was hosted by Rod Serling. It came after another show that's going to be on this list. But I was a huge fan of Night Gallery. And here's yet another show that I really got to get the rest of the series. I only got the first season, and it had like 13 episodes on like 3 discs. So yeah, they were stacked. I hate when they're stacked. Sony, of course. But it was All in the Family. This is a really smart show, a really fun show. And Carroll O'Connor was the absolute opposite of the character that he played, Archie Bunker. And I think that was part of the reason that he was able to play the character and play him so well, and to put such kind of humanity and pathos into the character, so that this could have been a really mean-spirited, just ugly character. And he doesn't ever let it become that. He won't let the character become that mean-spirited, that evil, that ugly. He just won't let it happen, because he feels for this character, and you can see it. You can see in the way that he does things, that he loves this character. And just an incredible show. He would do a lot of stuff over the years for for different organizations, and unfortunately his son had demons that would tragically take him. Carroll O'Connor did another series that I really liked, that I don't have, called In the Heat of the Night, based on the Sidney Poitier movie with Rod Steiger, and Carroll O'Connor was a perfect choice to take over the Rod Steiger role. He did so brilliantly, just seamlessly as he did when he took on the role of Archie Bunker. He just was that good, and he was able to play these characters almost chameleon-like into getting into these roles. And I think that people really underrate the work that Carroll O'Connor has done over the years. There are certain actors that they're just so good at what they do that people tend to take it for granted. And Carroll O'Connor is one of those actors that we do tend to take for granted. From Archie Bunker to Chief was it Gillespie on In the Heat of the Night, to just pretty much any role he did. He just went from one role to another. And here was a guy that was, he was no, he wasn't a big guy, but he was sizable. He had a unique look to him. So to take that look and to be able to transfer it over to so many different characters and to use so many different ways to do that was actually really admirable. And as somebody that really studied and loved acting, this was something that I was really, really into. Next up is a very fun show. This is one of the later shows on my list, actually, and that is Married with Children. I really dug this show. It was one of the first shows that ever came on the Fox network. I think they had like 2 or 3 shows, and they rerun this all the time, man. Married with Children was just such a funny show. There's not many shows that are this out and out hilarious, like unapologetic. I think South Park is goes in the same way, that this show does at times offend, but it has a lot of heart. And the whole thing behind this is that they did a few things that were kind of unique and different. One, you've got Al Bundy, who's this character that looks like he completely hates and doesn't want to be with his family, and is completely and utterly miserable. And yet, at the end of the day, when you watch the show, if you go through it, the times when Al gets the chance to cheat, to do something wrong, he won't, because at the end of the day, Al really loves Peggy. He really does. And the neat kind of cool thing about it is they could have hired anybody to play Peggy Bundy or somebody frumpy and stuff like that, but she's the opposite of frumpy. She's actually extremely sexy actress. And the fact that Al doesn't want to sleep with her is almost a running joke in and of itself. It wasn't the way that they had originally planned to go with the character. They planned to make her more of a frumpy character, but she went against type, and by doing so, it actually made the character more interesting. Amanda Beers has the original neighbor, Steve Marcy, and then she became Marcy Darcy when she married. But again, incredible show, and this just goes to show you that the actor that played her second husband doesn't always kill shows. Many shows last long after he comes on it, so it's not always happy days kind of thing. Next up is a favorite of mine, and speaking of beautiful women, Barbara Eden is one of the most beautiful. I Dream of Jeannie was just an incredible show. I love Larry Hagman. He does a great job in it. But Jeannie stole it from me. She was just so good. Larry Hagman makes a great straight man in the series, and to go from this to do the character of JR was just such an amazing transformation. When you type of Carol, like as a Carol O'Connor, you got to type with Larry Hagman too, as being able to really transform himself and really like reinvent himself. And the real like a lot of the great actors can do that. And you don't have to like get like a bunch of big movies, or you don't have to be in like a bunch of blockbusters to do that, or have to completely change yourself. You just have to be able to commit yourself to a character. And character actors do that a lot. And I think of people like Carol O'Connor and Larry Hagman as some of the best character actors in the world. If you are on my Facebook, then you're probably going to know this show is coming up. And it is Charlie's Angels. Yeah, I was completely in love with Charlie's Angels. All of them. Like I said on my Facebook, it's a rotating crush that I would have over which angel I was in love with that week. Really did love the show. I mean, I saw this when I was really young. I mean, I might have been like, I think 5 when the show came out. And but I just loved this series. I really loved this series. When I got this series, I was so excited because the later season, the last season, was really hard to get with Tanya Roberts. And was Tanya Roberts in the last season? Because Shelley Hack's on before, I think. Yeah, Tanya Roberts was in the last season. But you know, David Doyle as Bosley, just so many beautiful women, and they were strong characters too. They were strong women at a time. There wasn't a lot of strong women characters being like portrayed. And although people say it was Jiggle TV and stuff like that, they did a lot of good stuff there, and stuff that I really admire. Next up is, well, the Addams Family. No, the Munsters. I can't believe I said the Addams Family. I do love the Addams Family. It's a great show. I don't have it. It is a great show. But I do have the Munsters. I do have the complete series. It is an amazing one. They got 2 movies on this one actually as well. Munsters Go Home and The Munsters Revenge. And extremely fun, funny, just beautiful, wonderful show that I just loved. I adore the Munsters. And I think that you could not do anything wrong with that. And we have some more shows to go through, so let's get on with it. Never a hard choice on any of my list. Star Trek, the original series, was one that I grew up with. As much as people are going to talk about how great Star Trek Next Generation is, or how Deep Space Nine got really good at the end of the series, or how Voyager is a show, Star Trek, the original series, it's the one that started it all, and it was cool, man. You had Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, George Takei. I mean, come on. That's incredible. You're still reading his stuff you're reading George Takei's stuff on Facebook on a daily basis. You know you are. You're reposting his stuff. That's how cool he is. And this is where he got his start on the ultimate cool show, Star Trek. Star Trek was a major revolutionary series. It just did some amazing stuff. It made people dream, it made people think about science, and it made things happen. It created new medical technology. It just created a lot of stuff. People go between Star Wars and Star Trek, and Star Wars is an amazing movie series, which is completely different than Star Trek, which has a legacy all its own, and a legacy that can't be touched. The Bionic Woman. Totally in love with Bionic Woman. Lindsay Wagner did an amazing job portraying Jamie Summers in The Bionic Woman. They really worked hard on this series, and there are some times when I think the series did surpass the original that came by, but not often. But they did do some really great stuff with the fembots and some of the other characters, and she was amazingly likable. Oscar Goldman, even though it was on different networks, got to be in both series, which is really cool and really rare. Unless you're talking about the guy from Homicide and Law and Order. And of course, that brings me to The $6 Million Man, another fantastic series, originally titled Cyborg, where the original episode was. I just love this show. And if you haven't seen The $6 Million Man, owe it yourself. Go out and check it out. Especially the Yeti episodes. The Yeti episodes are awesome. Very first thing I saw on TV was the Yeti episode. I have the first 2 seasons of this, and I really got to get the rest because I love this show. I really do love this show. Actually, William Smith was in the last season of the show. William Smith is a great character actor, a really burly guy who's a fantastic, just amazing with the stuff he does. And he actually get to play a good guy for a change. In the last season of the show, he plays one of the cops, and that's Hawaii FiveO. It's a big fan of Jack Lord. I thought he made a great Felix Leiter, by the way. And this is just an awesome show. Watch this today, and it doesn't lose anything. The new Hawaii FiveO show actually is pretty damn good. But to me, this is still the best and the original and awesome. It's, of course, the original. I need one more season of this one to pick up, actually. Uh, and I do, and this is a big one for me. And you may laugh, but I really liked Starsky and Hutch. It had some very cool episodes, very dark episodes. Huggy Bear was ultimately cool, and the episode where oh god, what's Starsky and Hutch? Can't remember now. He gets drugged up on like you give him heroin, I think, and he's pretty much like the villain kind of gives him heroin and just injects him with it. And he's like in this drug and stupor for most of the episode. They're trying to find him, trying to save his life. That's a really dark thing to take on as a series. Like at the time, like you put your character into this like drug type, like that's a really dark thing. And it will be a few years later until we'd see that something get that dark again. What was originally going to be titled Dirty Harry the series, the title was changed, and it was a good thing it was because it got to be its own show, and that worked for me. And that was Hunter. Hunter starred Fred Dryer, and it was his first starring role. Fred Dryer was, of course, a football player who couldn't play football anymore and had to find a new profession. This one worked really well for him. I was in love with Dee Dee, like everybody was, and it just was such a great series. Okay, I've only got one season this, and it's really embarrassing that I've only got one season this because it's a really great show. And it's the 5th season because Leonard Nimoy was in it. And I wanted to see when it was done differently. When I think it's Bruce Lansbury, Angela Lansbury's son, actually took over in producing the show, and he started to change stuff about it. Unfortunately, they changed things that were iconic about it, and they actually started changing back the next year. But Mission Impossible is just an incredible series. I did grow up watching this, and I did watch the '88 series as well with Theo Penglis, and that was another amazing series. But I really, really love the original Mission Impossible. I do have. It's so expensive to buy the sets, and to buy like the big set. There's a big set out there, but it's like $300 or $400. She's gorgeous. He's debonair, and they were an amazing married couple in Heart to Heart. Just one of those really cool, really suave mystery series. He just reeks of like suave. He's amazing, and she is so beautiful. And there's such chemistry between these two actors. I mean, it's hard to. Sidney Sheldon wrote the series, man, and I was not like big on the Sidney Sheldon novels. I'm not going to lie, I didn't read a lot of them, but I did love the series Heart to Heart. I thought it was incredible. I know that Shout Factory has since put out more of these. I got this one originally. I think it was Sony. Yeah, Sony release, but Shout's released the rest of them, and I got to get them in the row because this is a really, really, really good series. Remember when I said that Alfred Hitchcock was a show that like formulated my writing style and stuff that I did? Well, there's one other series that helped with that, and that will be this one right here, Twilight Zone. I loved this show. This is the definitive edition, season 1. I managed to find this one at a Walmart when I first got out here. I know there's like the Blu-ray edition out now. It's really expensive, but one of these days I'll pick it up. There's a DVD edition that I think is actually better than the Blu-ray edition. The Blu-ray edition is cool and all, but no, there's a DVD edition that has like the original series and the 80s series and a random one of 5 random Twilight Zone comic books reproduced within the box set. That's the one I want. I wanted to go past all the other ones unless there's a Blu-ray set that comes out that has exactly that stuff. I don't care. It doesn't matter if that's not on Blu-ray. I want the DVD series, and it's Twilight Zone. It was like watching a movie every week. It was stylish. The music was incredible. The people were dressed amazing, and for the 80s. Remember, this was my show. If you ever wondering, hey, what's the 80s really like? Well, this is what the 80s is really like. Watch this show. You'll see the styles, you'll see the hair, you see the clothes, you see the music, and you'll see the kind of like our wonderful shallowness that was there. But it wasn't in a bad way. It was in a very innocent type of way. That is Miami Vice. Another incredible series that went 1 year, probably longer than it should have gone in a way, but because they killed off the character and then they brought him back from the dead. But I did like it, and it's Magnum PI. It was just a great show. Tom Selleck is an incredibly charismatic actor. This was a perfect role for Tom Selleck. Long before there was a Captain Jack Sparrow. Long, long before. Well, yeah, 21 Jump Street. Again, another favorite of mine. I love the show. This is the original Anchor Bay release. I really want them all. I've got the first 2 seasons. Actually, I loaned the first season out to a friend of mine, and she moved away to Ontario, and she forgot to give back to me in all pretty much innocence. But I have to get the first season again. I'm hoping to find the Anchor Bay release down the road, the first season as well. 21 Jump Street was just a really cool kind of like a teen show. It came in at a time that I was the age to really appreciate what 21 Jump Street was. Since then, you guys have all probably seen the 21 Jump Street comedy films that are actually really, really good. But these were really good shows for like teens back then. They had like special message episodes, but overall, the kids were cool. You had a lot of big actors that would kind of show up in these shows. And this one here had like Bridget Fonda on it. It had Christopher Titus, of course, did the comedian Titus, Kelly Yu, Mary Van Peebles, Dom DeLuise, Perry Gilpin, just a crap load of people, and you really got to check it out. It's going to seem really cheesy and dated by today's standards, but I really did like it. A wise man believes only in lies. Tales for the Unexpected. Just really love the show. I passed the love of this show on to my son, who also is an extreme fan of this series, and just is great. And my daughter, actually, Cassandra, she has I got her 1 year a huge book thing of Roald Dahl's books they had. So, and she kind of devoured a lot of that stuff. There were some times when I actually played hooky from school. My grandparents would be going up to go to the doctor or go up and get some groceries up in the, and I lived in a smaller community, and I knew that Buck Rogers came on in the mornings before like the morning show, and I would go home and pretty much I'd go at the door, I go downstairs, make sure that the basement door was unlocked, go at the door like I was going to school, wait for them to go, start walking upwards, come back around the bakery area, which was my area, walk in the back, go in the basement door, sit down in my room, turn on my TV, my big 13-inch TV, and watch Buck Rogers. I just had a lot of fun with this show. Just a really cool show back in the day, and I actually literally bumped into Joe Girard at a convention 1 year, and really nice guy. Last but definitely not least was the very first thing that I ever bought when I reached here at St. John's. I wanted to buy a DVD, something really special, something that would mean a lot to me for years to come. And it was my first job out here, my first paycheck. It was a good paycheck for me at the time, anyway. And it was so I went to the store. It's closed now, called CD Plus, and I picked up here the 75th anniversary collector's edition of The Lone Ranger. I loved watching this show when I was a kid. My pop used to watch this when I was a kid, and unfortunately, my pop has passed on right now. But I always think about him when I watch this show. So incredible stuff. Guys, thank you for lasting out the whole 33 minutes of this here video. And I hope you really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making this. So these are my top shows. And it's not like a top 10 list of TV shows or anything like that. No, this is my top list of shows that really influenced me when I was growing up. And I hope you get a little bit better idea of some of the stuff I like and some of my thoughts when you're when you watch my videos, because from some of these here. I did some other top lists and influential lists, and I really kind of want to keep doing some of these every once in a while, like kind of throw them out there, so basically you guys can get a better grasp of exactly where I'm coming from when I mention something or I say that I like this. You can actually see why I like this, and I hope that comes through. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night, and for me right now, it really is time for tea. Say hello to the great Pin Lord in the sky, to his buddy the Phantom, and I got a lot of TV sets put back. And some of them are precariously placed. Alrighty then.